dkdynamite for a giant breakdown of DLC 4 The Reckoning. If you're someone out there that wants to go into the map blind, hey, I totally respect that, but I think Treyarch has gotten a lot better over the last couple of months with not giving away too much in the blog post, whether it's about the narrative or every single point of interest. There's still a lot of mystery surrounding The Reckoning, but if you're somebody that's tuned in to the recent marketing and want to be as prepared as possible for the launch of DLC 4, then I got you covered here in this video. Definitely stay tuned. So if you're somebody that does collect pieces of intel in Black Ops 6 Zombies, it's worth pointing out that data miner Alex on Twitter did report that we're going to be looking at 7 documents, 13 audio logs, and 5 different artifacts. Nothing narratively has leaked out from this data mine, but it looks like the amount of pieces of intel have actually leaked out. So if you're somebody wondering how many pieces you have to collect, that could be the final count right there. Now I am curious, based on the low count that sounds like, how much story we're really going to get in this map, because obviously the narrative's been lacking in Black Ops 6 Zombies. It definitely improved with Shattered Veil, but there is so much left to be desired when it comes to the story. We already got confirmation from Treyarch that we're going to be seeing the return of Blanchard, Dr. Panos. We know SCM is probably going to be a threat or boss of some sort. We can also see what looks like the Forsaken, who hasn't been seen since Cold War, who is still trapped within that containment sphere, and I guess is somebody we can maybe interact with or hear more about through one of the pieces of intel. And we know that we still have a lot of story left to unravel with our main crew if they're meant to end up in Urzikstan, where they ultimately meet their demise. So there's a lot that we're all expecting from the story, let alone the ending of MW3 Zombies, which still hasn't connected to Black Ops 6 yet. So maybe it'll finally connect in this map or at some point in Black Ops 7 when a Shadowsmith pulled Ava Jansen through a mirror and over into the mansion. But one of the shots of the trailer does show us a Rampage Inducer, so I'm gonna guess that's near the spawn point, which has people wondering, right? Are we gonna infill into the map while parachuting as the trailer suggested? I mean, it's totally plausible that we're gonna parachute in, and wherever we land is gonna be that specific spawn room where the Rampage Inducer is. Now, I personally wouldn't get my hopes up too much about parachuting in this map, since while you will be able to do it, especially with the vertical layout that the map offers, I think upon spawning into the map, it'll probably be a lot more in line with what the other maps offer, which is that you spawn into the same room, there's an Inducer in the corner, and then you go from there. We'll jump into exactly how to navigate from tower to tower in a little bit. But something that honestly shocked me after reading through the Season 5 blog post is that there isn't a new perk, nor is there a new set of Gobblegums. That comes off pretty strange to me because, number one, 2 leaked perks have been mentioned by the usual leakers out there, and while it's always possible that those leaks are out of date, or maybe the perks got moved to Black Ops 7, it would really make you think, hey, maybe they're going to drop 1 perk in Season 5 with a brand new machine on the Reckoning, and then 1 bonus perk through the Wonder Fizz at some point in Season 6. All of that could then carry forward to the next game, right? But if we're not getting a new perk here with the Reckoning, I doubt we're really going to get any new perks before the end of BO6's life cycle. So whatever Z_mod was or W_mod was is honestly going to remain a mystery for who knows how long. But the second point I wanted to make was that shopping free was confirmed by Kevin Drew himself during COD Next of Black Ops 6 last year. So that Gobblegum, while it is overpowered, is maybe best saved for the very end of this game's cycle or some point in Black Ops 7. But folks in the community have pointed out other perk machines that have come from other maps like Melee Macchiato. Usually these perk machines only make a one-time appearance in the map that they originate from, so it's possible the Reckoning just has a bunch of returning machines for perks like Vulture Raid or even Double Tap. So maybe this could be a map where we see some perks have machines yet again, even though they were probably only going to get 1 appearance outside of the Wonder Fizz. Now we have a brand new wonder weapon. It's completely original in this map, and it's known as the Gorgofex. I believe this is probably going to be tied to Gorgofex himself, maybe even that shield that we saw back in Terra Maledicta. I'm looking forward to the lore behind this new wonder weapon because it does look like a parasite or an apothecary servant had a baby with a ray gun or another pistol-like wonder weapon. Either way, it's going to be able to be upgraded to 2 other variations. We're not sure how that process is going to work. Thankfully, nothing was spoiled about that. I have a feeling you'll be able to craft the base version of the Gorgofex, like the Alistair's Foley, and then you'll just have 2 other quest upgrades that you can do maybe for the main Easter egg or just so that you can enhance the wonder weapon to get to high rounds with it. But one of the blog images does show us different colored versions of the Gorgofex. It's unclear if those are the upgrades. I think they are, because the Pack-a-Punch camo, when you apply it to any weapon, would cover the entire thing. And so far, it doesn't look like the Pack-a-Punch camo has been seen on the Gorgofex from any of these blog images. Now, we also have a brand new trap called the C.A.S.T.E.R turret. It is a wall-mounted automated cannon which does unload a devastating powerful barrage of etheric energy. The cool thing about the blog is that it does tease something that nobody's been talking about, which is that you can upgrade this turret with something called Blank. It's completely redacted, nano energy tech, and something called Blank. So the fact we'll get some type of upgrade process to a trap, again, makes this map stand out from previous maps inside of Black Ops 6. Also reminds me a little bit of the SAM trap that we saw in Shattered Veil, which is again a pretty unique trap that required a side quest to actually enable. Now, something we haven't seen in quite some time is an anti-gravity room. I'm really looking forward to whether or not the Easter egg requires you to go into this room for something, but the gameplay looked like a ton of fun. As you can see, we have not seen an anti-gravity room since the Horizon or even Revelations, kinda. So it's gonna be something that I think does give this map a little bit more charm and identity, something that we have not seen in Modern Zombies at all whatsoever. But similar to Moon from Black Ops 1, I would love to see how high rounds can actually be played out in this room in particular, or if it'll be easier to take out some of the heavier elite enemies while running around in this point of interest. But speaking of enemies, we first up have the Uber Klaus, aka the leaked Mecha Klaus that has been talked about in the community for several months now. There'll be an actual Klaus bot in a giant mech suit who has the ability to block your attacks. He can melee you, so yes, he wants to throw some hands, and he also has some launchers on his arms that the blog suggests you're going to want to avoid. Yes, he can fly, and yes, you can actually take out a weak point so that the Klaus bot can eject from the mech suit, in which will also continue chasing you. So a completely original enemy type here for the Reckoning. It's not just the reskin of the Panzer Soldat or the Kranzi Soldat from Black Ops 3 or even Cold War. It sounds like a really cool new type of enemy that I think is going to be refreshing considering how many times we've seen amalgams or abominations or the same type of enemies that we've gotten in every map of Black Ops 6. But we're also getting a brand new special round. Instead of parasites or the vermin, we're going to be looking at the Commando Klaus bots. So a red mist will appear, and you have a bunch of flying, self-destructing Klaus bots that you're going to have to look out for. I'm sure they'll be as deadly as the self-destructing toxic zombies from Shattered Veil. So you're going to have to be careful on these rounds, but I can almost guarantee this will be an easy strat to downing other players if you're playing Grief on this map. Now, folks in the community have also pointed out some returning enemy types that may get used for the Easter egg or even for exfilling, but in some of these containers, in a few of the biolabs, you could see a disciple, even a toxic zombie, and enemy types that probably won't spawn in normally, but may have some type of presence on the map. To this day, I'm still getting a bunch of hate on a short that I made a couple of months ago where I went over Treyarch's Instagram post. In a post or a reply, they had said that the Abomination and the Amalgam would not be seen in Shattered Veil, or at least would not be spammed in the Shattered Veil. And to this day, that statement still holds true, but those enemy types are present during some steps of the main Easter egg and during an exfil. So while some folks interpreted that as the enemies would be removed from Black Ops 6, Treyarch actually meant that they just wouldn't be regulars inside of the map, but would still be featured in a different way. That could be what's going on here with the Disciple or even the Toxic Zombie. But in another container, you could see a floating woman who fans have speculated could be Richtofen's wife. Obviously, Richtofen's plan was to bring back his wife and son by using Prima Materia, using a Sentinel artifact. He wants to bring them back since they perished many years ago. So could that be a body being made to bring his wife back? And somehow he's going to collect her soul and put it in there? Is it even a new body that SAM is creating so that SAM can now have a body and not just be AI anymore? Could even be a recreation of Samantha Maxis herself and her likeliness that SAM is going to use? Lots of questions, but we're obviously going to find out who that is in the next week. But we then have the Mr. Peaks field upgrade, which I'm really looking forward to using. We got a little bit of gameplay of it in the recent trailer. Yes, it's kind of like just using a field upgrade to spawn in a monkey bomb or a glorified homunculus. Some of the augments sound cool though. As you can see on screen, there's quite a few that we're probably going to be able to research day one when Season 5 launches, whereas the field upgrade itself, unfortunately, isn't going to be able to be equipped until we unlock it through an upcoming challenge event. This upgrade is allegedly tied to the 90s Action Hero event, which is listed as an in-season update, so might have to wait 2-3 weeks before this becomes available, which I think is very frustrating when it comes to zombies especially, because this was marketed with the trailer, right? So you'd want to be able to use it day one when the map launches, but it doesn't look like we're going to be able to do that. Now, the blog post also mentions receivers and transmitters, specifically teleporter pads, which we actually saw back in Alpha Omega, where you place one down and then you place its respective receiver somewhere else and you'd build your own teleporter system. So that allegedly is coming back, which we didn't get a blog post image of or any hint of in a recent trailer, but you guys may have seen the jump portals, right? So to be able to go from tower to tower, you'll be able to jump to these really cool portals that don't put a big teleporting animation on your screen. Instead, you just jump from spot to spot, shot, similar to jump pads that we saw back in Firebase Z. Now, I gotta admit, I'm pretty disappointed that they haven't confirmed the grappling gun, and while we could inhale some Copium to hope that we're gonna get one through a side quest, I gotta say, if they couldn't get one for this map because of time constraints or crunch, then I get it. Maybe there's a chance we get a grappling hook of some sort in the next iteration of Outbreak, which is also currently rumored for Black Ops 7. In that case, that's fine. I gotta say, I'm also impressed that this map itself seems completely original, with nothing really pulled from the Emergence campaign mission, which I really wouldn't have minded anyway, because I love that mission, but I was hoping if anything had to get brought back as a reuse asset, it would be that grapple gun to be able to jump from tower to tower, but unfortunately, it doesn't look like that actually exists right now. But I get it. There was a leak from Reality UK, a known data miner, a little while ago that suggested that a grappling hook was coming to the game, so maybe it exists somewhere and we just don't know how that's going to work yet. But for completing the main Easter egg, you're going to be unlocking a brand new operator skin for Dr. Gray called Blood, Sweat, and Gears. It looks like the cycle has been broken, folks, because for every other round-based map we've gotten in BO6, we've gotten a Wonder Weapon skin, and the maps in between gave us an operator skin. So it looks like we're getting back-to-back operator skins here. We had a Carver skin back in Shattered Veil, and now a brand new skin for Dr. Gray herself. But I know you guys probably want to know more about a super Easter egg. So as of this week, with the Season 5 blog post, nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing, was teased regarding a super Easter egg. We could all wonder if to get a free reward for having done all quests, do you have to do all of the Easter eggs in standard mode, or could you have done them in directed? My guess is that when a super Easter egg does get introduced, because you can bet Treyarch is going to release something for having done all the Easter eggs, I bet there'll be a couple of good rewards you get for doing all the directed versions, and then a slightly better reward if you've done them in standard mode. Now, a couple of months ago in a Call of Duty Recon Squad meeting, it looks like somebody in the meeting suggested that they should add Pack-a-Punch camos as rewards for having done all the quests. While that is a cool reward in general, I don't think that's a reward that we should see for having done all of the Easter eggs. Those rewards, like Pap camos, would be better served in a challenge event or something, or for doing a single main quest once. But that was presented a few months ago, so hopefully that feedback got sent up to Activision and they know that at least people are thinking about a super Easter egg and what rewards could be. But the mid-season is bringing us grief support on Reckoning, as well as the directed mode support for the main Easter egg. So personally, I don't think we're going to see a super Easter egg of any sort until some point in Season 6, right before the life cycle is over. I don't think the reward itself will be too grand, considering Black Ops 7 is just around the corner, but I'm sure folks will get something, whereas a better super Easter egg is probably going to be saved for the next Call of Duty.